Here's the inflation breakdown for December 2023, in one chart. The annual inflation rate edged higher in December following 2 months of declines. However, that reversal likely isn't cause for concern, and may be somewhat misleading, economists said. "We're still making progress in the inflation fight," said Sarah House, senior economist at Wells Fargo Economics. The Consumer Price Index rose 3.4% last month relative to a year earlier, the U.S. Department of Labor reported Thursday. That's a larger increase than the 3.1% in November and 3.2% in. Here's the inflation breakdown for December 2023, in one chart. These are some of the core categories, plus other items with notable year-over-year price changes. The index has fallen by half since December 2022, when the inflation rate was 6.5%, and has declined significantly from the 9.1% pandemic-era peak in June 2022. Consumers' buying power also increased over the past year. Hourly wages after accounting for inflation, so-called real earnings, rose 0.8% from December 2022 to December 2023, according to the Labor Department. Inflation is moving in the right direction. The CPI, a key inflation gauge, measures how fast the prices of everything from fruits and vegetables to haircuts and concert tickets are changing across the U.S. economy. Lower energy prices had helped pull down the overall index in recent months but didn't provide as much relief to consumers in December, economists said. U.S. Consumer Price Index. Year-over-year percent change as of December 2023. Further, so-called base effects made the latest yearly CPI reading seem somewhat distended, economists said. This term refers to how fluctuations in the monthly inflation rate can influence the magnitude of an annual change. Basically, there was an unusually small monthly increase, 0.1%, in prices from November 2022 to December 2022, said Andrew Hunter, deputy chief U.S. economist at Capital Economics. Meanwhile, CPI rose 0.3% from November 2023 to December 2023, and that difference was enough to increase the year-over-year comparison. For this reason, monthly figures often provide a more accurate gauge of inflation trends relative to the annual reading, and the monthly indicators are still moving in the right direction, Hunter said. Where inflation jumped in December. Shelter prices rose 6.2% over the past year. As the largest piece of the average household's budget, shelter accounted for more than two-thirds of the CPI's increase since December 2022, according to the Labor Department. Other categories with notable increases during that time include motor vehicle insurance, prices of which jumped 20.3%, recreation, such as admissions to concerts and sporting events, 2.7%, personal care, such as haircuts, 5%, and education costs, such as tuition and daycare, 2.4%, the Labor Department said. U.S. Consumer Price Index. Month-over-month percent change. Meanwhile, prices have leveled out, or even declined, in some categories. Largely, that trend has occurred in physical goods such as new and used cars, household furnishings, recreational goods such as toys, televisions and musical instruments, and education and communication commodities such as computers and college textbooks, economists said. For example, prices of used cars and trucks have decreased 1.3% since December 2022. Those of household appliances fell 4%, while those for dishes and flatware declined 2% and those for men's suits, sport coats and outerwear fell 6%. Broadly, that easing is attributable to an unwinding of the pandemic-era supply shortages, Hunter said. Supply chain bottlenecks and elevated consumer demand had fueled those shortages.